Monday, December 6th. It's about 8:30 in the evening, and we left Sault Ste. Marie about half hour ago. We're heading for home, and what I want to show you is see the road we're on. Kind of looks like we're driving down a two-track. The amount of snow on the road, yeah, this is not a two-track. This is M28. Same road we drove across this morning that was nice and clear. Yeah, it's not nice and clear anymore. It's all white. There's about maybe an inch of snow on the road. I did see a plow a little ways back, but I haven't seen any up this way, and I don't think they've come this far. And the other thing to tell you is, there's all this talk of all these cars that were going really fast earlier when the road was bare. And the speed limit on this section of road is 65 miles an hour. And currently I'm going about 55 miles an hour because the conditions warrant it. Actually, I think more than likely when we get up near farther west and the snow starts getting deeper, I hear it's been snowing over there at Marquette since about 9 in the morning. And if that's the case, there'll be a considerable amount of snow there. In this storm, I think this part of the UP is only forecasted for like 2 or 3 inches. But you hear that sound? That's us hitting those friggin' rumble strip where we hit that one in the middle. So, because you just got to play the guessing game of where your lane is. There's the one on the right. Okay. So the important thing is to remember here is don't be going too fast. You got to be able to stop in case you need to, and try to guess where your lane is by hitting those little rumble strips. Now, if you are on a road that don't have those rumble strips, that gets a little bit more challenging. Then you got to gauge yourself based on how far you are from the snowbanks. Here in the eastern UP, there isn't a whole lot of snowbank. So because there isn't much of a snowbank, you just got to gauge it as you go. Now, normally, if it starts snowing any heavier than it is now, right now I can still use my high beams and see a considerable distance, but it starts snowing any harder, we're not going to be able to utilize those high beams. But I wanted you guys to see this because this is what happens to our roads usually a good part of the winter. Every time it snows, it's like, where'd the road go? Play the guessing game of where the road is. We used to, when I first learned how to drive, we didn't have rumble strips. So what we would do is you basically would just drive down a road, and the goal here is to not go in any ditches and not hit any mailboxes. And usually you're pretty good about it, but normally you were right down the middle, and so it was kind of bad when you met another car. So they come up with the idea of putting these rumble strips down. Actually, these rumble strips were originally put in to wake up sleeping or truck drivers that were falling asleep when they were driving because they were driving too much. So when they hit that rumble strip would wake them right up or give them a little jolt so they'd wake up. But we, I guess, adopted them, and we like them better to just tell where the damn lane's at. So it is what it is. There's that rumble strip again. Here comes the car. We'll flip off our high beams so they can see. Oh, no. See, that wasn't a rumble strip. Those are warning strips to tell us we got to stop because we're coming up on Eckerman Corners, and we have to stop for M123. Snow is progressively getting a little deeper. I'm interested to see what it's like once we get the other side of Newberry. We get up in the snowbelt areas. Be interested to see how much snow the central UP is getting. I don't think you can read that sign very well, but it says Marquette, 124 miles. We won't go all the way to Marquette though. We'll probably just go to Munising and turn like we did in another video. Alright, so at 50 I can feel the car slide around a little bit at 50. So I'm just gonna gradually get her up to about 55. And I don't know, I think we're gonna kick it back down to 50. Snow is probably an inch, 2 inches deep in the road. Some people, now I do drive a four-wheel drive, but I rarely use it. I come from the belief that, you know, four-wheel drive is just for when you need it, not all the time. And my first couple vehicles I ever had weren't four-wheel drive; they were two-wheel drive. So that's what I learned to drive in. So I learned to drive even on slippery roads and all that in two-wheel drive, and because of that, I feel I have a better respect for it. Because four-wheel drive, you know, when the roads start to turn crappy like this, you know, that doesn't mean you can still do 65, just put it in four-wheel drive. That four-wheel drive, yes, it gives you more traction, but then you have more momentum and it's harder to stop. So four-wheel drive just means four-wheel slide. And because we're on the eastern UP still and they don't have a whole lot of snow, less snow is going to mean more chance of encountering wildlife. So I haven't seen any yet, but that doesn't mean we won't. The other thing we gotta take into account of is we may encounter some other cars like this guy. He's got friggin' high beams on still. There he goes. But we may encounter other cars that may or may not be in the right lane. So we have to be able to react to that. Because even though most people, you know, they're just going to hit each other, I find it that I prefer not to get in car accidents. I've got a pretty good record when it comes to that. Let's see, this will be, actually this year marks 21 years of driving. And in 21 years of driving, I've never been in a car accident involving more cars than my own, other than my own. And my car accidents have been limited to wildlife strikes, and it was all deer. And the majority of my wildlife strikes were within the, I would say, the first 5 or 6 years of having a driver's license is when I had all my wildlife strikes. Since that point, I've gotten much more time driving, and I guess been more lucky, you know, because statistically speaking, I'm more likely, just based on the amount of driving I do, I should be more likely in having an accident than the normal person would. Because a normal person might drive, you know, what do they drive, 10,000 miles a year maybe? whereas I typically do 7 to 8 times that amount. So we're talking 70 to 80,000 miles a year. So that means that, statistically speaking, I should be 7 to 8 times more likely to get in a car accident. But I'm not, or maybe I am, and I'm just that lucky, and I should start spending that luck on lottery tickets. But I feel it just because I'm that cautious of a driver, and most drivers are, some drivers are very cautious, some are overly cautious, but you have a lot of drivers that are aggressive drivers, like they'll tailgate, or they'll, I notice it a lot in Lower Michigan, they get, in my opinion, too close to each other. There's that rumble strip again on the right. Whereas in my case, I drive so much, yeah, sometimes I'm in a hurry, but even being in a hurry, it doesn't mean I tailgate. That doesn't mean that I do anything to, I make sure I still have plenty of stopping distance. And I've seen quite a few bad accidents, even in front of me. Basically, people don't give themselves enough time to stop, or they don't give themselves, enough. They misjudge other cars. They think, oh, that car's going to stop. No, that car's not going to stop, and they get hit. Personally, it's not worth it. What'd you save yourself? You get in a hurry and you end up going faster than the speed limit. Usually you're like 5 miles over the speed limit. You're like, oh, it's no big deal. It's only 5 miles. So yeah, so what are you saving? You're saving, like, on a short trip, let's say it's, you only go 60 miles. That extra 5 miles an hour, what'd it save you? A minute? But that extra 5 miles an hour, you get in a car accident. Now you hurt yourself or you hurt somebody else. Was it really worth that extra minute? So, because I'm not that concerned about it, I try to not do it. And if what's that extra minute of time? That give yourself extra time. So, like today, I know it's snowing. I knew it was going to snow. This morning, I knew it was freezing rain. And I knew that because of freezing rain, I knew I had to be in the Sioux for a meeting at 11. That means normally the Sioux to home drive is a 2.5, 3 hour drive, something like that. Okay? So 3 hours from 11 is 7. I left home at 6:45. No, 6:15 I left. I gave myself 45 minutes extra time. Now, it wasn't bad. I ended up making it to the Sioux in about 2.5 and 2 3/4, something like that. So yeah, I was early, but I'd rather be early than late. All right, I can feel the rumble strip. Which one? Left. So when that happens, you feel it, and you don't jerk the wheel. You kind of just feel around, and all right, which side of the car is it hitting? And that's the same thing tonight. I don't really have a set time I'm supposed to be home by. No real deadline other than I got to be to work in the morning. But if it takes me 4 hours or 3 hours to get home, I left about 8 o'clock. Normally, if I leave at 8, I can be in Newberry by 9, usually about an hour. Well, it's 10 minutes to 9 right now, and we're not even in Luce County yet. So I don't think we're going to be in Newberry in an hour, but that's okay with me. I understand that it's snowing, and I just deal with it. I slow it out. No, I'm gonna let the camera stay running for a while. just so you can see, hopefully you can see how the snowbanks get considerably higher. Because we did a video this morning, and it was pretty close to the area we're in right now that we did the video. So I'm just gonna let it run for a little bit. You can watch us drive, and you know, listen to us hitting these rumble strips. That I'm like, oh, I'm on a rumble strip. Let's drift to the right a little bit. Oh no, I don't hear it no more, and I must be off it. But the hard part is there's not a whole lot of snowbank right now, and so you have to kind of gauge yourself, you know, there's that rumble strip again. So let's turn to the right. Okay, there, we're off it. Now we're gonna go across the train tracks. Ever notice 28 doesn't seem to have any of them, but oh yep, other side of that train tracks, there's always a pile of snow every time it snows, because the semis that come through there, snow builds up on the bottom of that semi. Same thing it does on a car, but when they hit the railroad tracks, because there's a little bump, all the snow falls off and it always lands just the other side of those tracks. Alright, coming around the corner, we're in the area what is known as Sioux Junction. That means Luce County line's coming up. Yep, I see it up there, and those are those things glowing. That's county line. Hell no, this isn't. This is telling us there's a passing lane. Passing lane, 1 mile. Yeah, we're not going to be able to tell where that passing lane is, except for the road's going to get wider. And there's Luce County, and you can see where the plow is turned around, and yep, well, yeah, Luce County has not been out. There's a considerable amount of more snow in the road. So we're going to go ahead and slow her down some more. Get down to about 50. Still in two-wheel drive. If I feel that I need four-wheel drive, I'll turn it on, but typically that means I have to go slower than 30. Alright, we're going to go ahead and stop this video and we'll come back for another one. Alright.